Welcome back. I just can't get over the response, one detective just told me. After last week's crime statistics, this has restored my faith in British society. Indeed, we have had a lot of calls tonight. At very least, they've been interesting. One detective has just told me, in his case, they're downright exhilarating. Sue?
Well, first of all, the murder of Eddie Owusu while he was working as an attendant at the National Car Park under Hammersmith Flyover in West London. On Saturday, January the 17th, Alice in Wonderland was on at the Hammersmith Odeon Theatre. And in the car park nearby, Eddie Owusu was attacked and shot. A witness saw two figures running away from the scene. Malcolm, what sort of response have you had?
We've had a very interesting response. In particular, I would ask that Michael contacts us. All information that he can give will be treated in the strictest confidence.
Right, he called about a particular conversation and...
He did indeed.
Did he? Now, the other thing is, I gather you've had two separate calls about a white man seen helping Eddie wearing an NCP jacket, a yellow NCP jacket, earlier on.
And in the hut with him. This was about 7:30 p.m. I would ask that this man, if he exists, contacts us as soon as possible. Again, any information he can give will be treated in strictest confidence. It may be that he was doing a part-time job, helping Eddie, or just doing it as a favour. We would still like to hear from him.
And as you say, it will be in absolute confidence.
Indeed.
Is there any other appeal you'd like to make?
No, only that if anyone knows the identity of these gunmen, please pick up the telephone and give us a ring now, because they are dangerous.
Malcolm, thank you. And there is a reward, of course.
There is a reward.
We've had a phenomenal response to the series of hijacks in London involving trucks laden with cigarettes. In a series of hold-ups, and despite sophisticated alarm systems on the lorries, a gang has terrorised drivers and escaped with loads worth a total of over £250,000.
Hey, you!
Sergeant Davison, fantastic response, I gather.
Absolutely. We've had over 300 calls on this from people the length and breadth of London and the home counties and other places. We've had 4 or 5 particularly good calls, and because of the fact 1 or 2 of them have been particularly good, unfortunately I can't say too much about them at the moment. Things are imminent, and obviously if anything does happen during this update, we'll come back to you with it, but it's been very good.
There are 2 incident rooms active on this because there are so many crimes all bunched together. Any specific sightings, anything that particularly turns you on?
We've had 2 calls in relation to the Blue Avenger car and the incident leading up to the Packington Street hijack. In fact, one of the calls has told us that we got it wrong, the reconstruction is wrong.
Really?
So we need to contact that man again. Still would like more calls in relation to the other hijacks, people seeing those hijacks. They did take those a busy
It was
time.
extraordinary. These things happened in broad daylight. There must be dozens of witnesses to them, even if they weren't clear that there was a crime going on
Somebody
at the time.
must have seen something.
Cheap cigarettes, suspicious cigarettes turning up all over London, I gather.
That's right. It proves a point. In fact, people have taken interest, they're aware of what's going on, they've phoned us up with information. Thank you very much, but don't stop now or tomorrow morning, because these things will be happening over the next couple of weeks. Keep us in touch. We want to hear from you.
If you think you know who the villains are, or you know someone who's got cigarettes under suspicious circumstances and in some bulk, there's a £50,000 reward you could share in.
Well, now to find out what valuables in our Aladdin's cave have been recognised by their rightful owners, here's John Bly.
Well, not surprisingly, we've had a lot of calls on the fireplaces and also quite a few on the ivory figures, particularly even the fake Netsky. But what is always nice is when somebody rings up about something which I haven't actually mentioned, and that has happened with the clock twice. There have been 2 people called in who wanted a little more information and have another look at this little miniature grandfather clock. But most of all, I'm thrilled to bits to say that after 10 calls, we think we now have the owner of the bowl of the Fastnet Race Prize, and that is Lieutenant Commander John Illingworth from Malhamdale in Yorkshire. And I think that is marvellous. But please, I would like to say once again, we have not yet had a call on the box. So if you could possibly have another look at it, and please do, let's see if we can find the owner for that family treasure.
Now, the wages snatch at the Princess Butoni factory at Huyton on Merseyside. Police have been taking some truly vital calls, they think. 2 security guards were surprised by a gang armed with baseball bats. The robbers made their getaway in a stolen 4x4 Sierra, which was abandoned in Speke. Inspector Bennett, how many calls have you had so far?
There's been a large number. As you can see, these are the calls that we've had here in London, and there's at least twice as many in Liverpool. The response of the public has been absolutely magnificent in this. I'm delighted with them, delighted.
Several, I can see from some of the documents in front of you, have been naming people with addresses, and you believe it's quite good information.
We've had a lot of people contacting us with names of suspects for the video fits. And obviously we'll be checked out. Some of them we think are very, very good, but I would still ask for people to contact us again. The more that come in, the more delighted we are, and the more work that we can do into them.
Now, there was one specific piece of evidence you had. I know officers are checking it right now, but you really think this is a very important clue indeed?
We did get one part of the information which was absolutely superb. Officers in Liverpool are delighted with it. I wouldn't like to say any more on that at this stage.
You're pretty confident
it looks quite good, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
OK.
It does.
Disappointment, you were telling me a few minutes ago. The black cab that you were looking for that picked up these guys in Eastern Avenue in Speak. Now, they were pretty distinctive. They had baseball bats with them. What was the date again?
It was the 19th of February. It was a Thursday, and it was roughly, it would be about 9:30. You would expect the cab driver to have remembered these men, and as I say, he was forced to stop to pick a fourth man up. They were carrying the baseball bats at the time, and really I am disappointed that either he hasn't come forward or maybe somebody who knows about the incident has come forward.
OK, maybe he's watching now. Maybe.
Well, if he is, I would hope that he would ring me in. There is one other thing that I would like to say. We have had a man who's rang our criminal intelligence office in Liverpool on 2 occasions. I would ask that man, would he please contact them again?
OK, thank you very much indeed. Sue.
Well, now to see what calls have been coming in on tonight's incident desk cases. David Hatcher, first of all, somebody has been persuading people all around the country to part with their savings for goods or services which don't materialise. Any news on the person who knows about that?
Yes, we've had some calls. In fact, after seeing this face, 4 more viewers have called in alleging they've been tricked out of money. Those viewers are from Margate, Putney, Herne Hill and Camberwell. The real point is, where is this man now? If you know him, please ring us. We'd like to talk to him.
Yes, he has vital information. What about Stuart Curnow, the man with the double life who disappeared mysteriously after his wife died?
Yes, Mr. Curnow wanted us to believe that he was dead. We now know that at least a month ago he was certainly alive because somebody who knew him a year ago saw him last February. And he's alleged to have committed suicide during December, which we know isn't true. Again, if you know where that man is, please call us. And of course, remember, his car is still outstanding as well. That's a bronze Granada Ghia A893 SYX. If you know where that is, call us.
Finally, the missing rare scarlet macaw stolen from Durham.
Yes, we've had 16 addresses to check on this one. If you think you know where that macaw is, then please give us a call. Remember, the one that's gone missing, called Jackie, was in fact ill at the time she went missing and is on a special diet. What we really want, of course, is the real macaw.
Thank you, David.
Oh dear. Helen, let's move to London. 2 separate hold-ups we covered in Baker Street, both of them. One a young man, one an older man.
Well, that first picture we showed of the young man, though we see the right side of his face here.
He's the lower one.
That's right. On the left side of his face is a very noticeable scar. We've had a call from a detective inspector from Essex who believes that he's got that man in custody now.
Really?
Save a bit of shoe wear there.
Well, it certainly would if it's the right one. And the guy at the top, the older one?
Yes, the older man. A number of calls, over 20. A few names have been suggested. Some of those have come from police officers in the metropolitan area.
Right, thought that man might look different if he had his teeth in. Quite seriously. 2 security tags were found with some illegal firearms. What response have you had tracing those?
Marvellous response, particularly as we believe they've been worn during armed robberies throughout the country. Over 40 calls have come in, 9 of which are the same manufacturer in East London. So there's a good chance that mystery can...
Good. Helen, thank you.
Well, that's it from Crimewatch for this month. The lines here to the studio will be closing now, but all the local numbers will be on your screen in a moment. Or if you'd rather not use the phone, you can write to us. It's Crimewatch UK, BBC TV, London W12 8QT.
Incidentally, don't forget to tune in to BBC Radio 2 for their Crime Check Week, which starts next Monday. We on Crimewatch will be back next month. Meanwhile, as we always say, please don't have nightmares, do sleep well. Good night.
Good night.